Welcome back to Locked On Coyotes. Yes, that is right. After a 1-week hiatus, after Robyn fired me and then realized how she can't do the show without me and she made the biggest mistake of her life, let's get into it. We're back.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, your number one daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. I am your host, Robyn Leonio, alongside Matthew Jacobson. And that is right, we are back after a 1-week hiatus. And despite what Matthew will try to tell you, no, it was actually it was a week off due to mental health related reasons. I just needed to take just a week step back to kind of reset my life. And I highly encourage you guys, if you ever feel burnt out, to do the same, because sometimes just a little bit of time away really helps kind of really, bring things back into perspective.
Yeah. Robyn timed her mental burnout like perfect with mine. But it's not like a work burnout. It's just wow, the animal control system here is absolutely fundamentally broken. And I will sit on a soapbox in the third segment, so please stick around for that, because I am gonna mark some claim on this show, because I am now your former co-host of this show. Former squared. Anyway, the Coyotes are done. It's over. All right. 1-4-0. To start this month. I'm just gonna skip through it. 4-1 loss to the Panthers. Veggie put up solid numbers. Then we come back against the Islanders and got embarrassed 5-1. They lost to the Jets. Yes, I'm saying Jets. I'm not bringing up the Thrashers meme when the Coyotes are getting multiple skates put in, like, inside of them. Anyway, 6-2 loss. They bounced back against Boston, 4-3 win. They're so close to salvaging the homestand before another Canadian team kicks them 6-2. So it is over. They are out of the playoffs now. They've been out of the playoffs, and pack it up, go home.
Oh no! I mean, they are out of a playoff spot, and here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a good start. But
understatement. Oh my goodness, that is such an understatement, Robyn.
But you know what, Matthew? You know what I'm going to go straight up and say?
What?
I think their losing streak also, or that bad start. They got a cup, one or two out there. It coincides with us not doing the show.
Think about it. Robyn fires me. I lose my spot in the industry. Coyotes start losing. I'm just saying, you're stuck with me, because if you want the Coyotes to not only stay in Arizona, but win.
You know what? I will admit something.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's a correlation. The shirtless fat guy was always it was a motivation for them to keep winning. However, once it happens, everything goes downhill for a little bit.
We gotta replace it with something. Let's replace it with like a dog drive or something. Adopt some dogs. Coyotes keep winning. Desert dogs. We're a pack out there. Come on, I think that works, because, like, what else do you say about the homestead? I am 100%. We are just going to bumble our way through this first segment, because I want to have fun instead of talking about the terrible, awful, no good hockey this team was playing, where both goaltenders, like Veggie had one good game, Ingram had one good game. Other than that, I had the numbers still over here from the video I did. All right, shameless plug. These goaltenders were playing like doo-doo. The defense was playing like excrement, and the offense, what offense? Until Dylan Guenther came and saved this team to go from 1 goal a game to 2 goals a game, which a 2x return is not bad. But until Guenther came in to save the offense, what offense? The offense died, Robyn.
Yeah. You're right. It certainly did. And as an example, like I was at the game against Winnipeg. I just decided at the very last minute, it's like, you know what, I kind of want to enjoy a game. I haven't enjoyed a good game in person in a minute, so decided to watch that game. And there was not a lot of offense. Still a fun game because it's the Mullet Arena. Atmosphere is amazing.
Mhm.
But I was just looking, where is everything? But you know what? Dylan Gunther is still, he holds that piece in me. I'm like, you know what? You can kick ass. You can do amazing. You keep kicking ass and keep doing an amazing job, Dylan. Spicy
2
Dill.
goals and 1 assist in 2 games. He pulled a Michelli. He looked at management and said, "You will not send me down." And I love that about him. And I was having a conversation with someone at Mullet, and we're like, "How long is he going to stay?" I'm assuming like 2 weeks would be the max. And it's going
Yeah.
to be until he stops scoring every game. Well, he hasn't scored in the last 2 games, so I'm sorry, system's not fair. Gunther's probably going to get sent down now.
I mean, he'll get sent down so he can actually get, playing the AHL All-Star Classic in San Jose.
Oh yeah, they are doing a classic thing in San Jose. That's right.
I almost decided I was going to go before I decided to pull all the funds dedicated to that to the Vegas trip in June for the draft.
That is right. Robyn keeps trying to get me to go on that trip, and I have sworn off alcohol, so I cannot go.
Nope, you have no choice.
I have no. I'm gonna. You know what? I might as well. If I'm gonna be out of the industry, I might as well party on my way out. Come on, I'm gonna go study rocks. Okay, you guys even know what a rock is? I rest my case.
I love that.
Let's talk about fossils. I will have a more fun time explaining to you whether or not T-Rex was a predator or scavenger. He was a hybrid, by the way, or she. Don't really care, but I'd rather talk about that than the bad hockey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tee up a sponsor break, and we're going to get into the good hockey because we are so back immediately after it's over.
Well, we'll do that right after this.
And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use with many different ways to bet, like live same game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab and make a parlay bet in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays and more. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Why is there a layup in a football reference? I'm going to get in trouble for that one day. I am 100% going to get in trouble for that one day.
Hey, you know what? I mean, hey, look, unless you're like one of those tight ends from the early 2010s in which they were laying up their footballs into the into between the goalposts, you never know.
Oh my God, this upcoming Saturday is going to be another doubleheader. Coyotes, hey, I know you guys are insecure about not getting preferential Saturdays because of ASU. Go back to playing on Sundays. I'm tired of being there all day. Okay, I don't like the 12-hour days. I want to go home and maybe die a little bit instead of doing that.
That's fair though. But let's get to that. Like you said, we're so back because the couple of wins that they've had.
We're so back, baby. We're so back. They go 1-4-0. Terrible hockey. They go into Minnesota, and Minnesota sucks, by the way. And then they have I think it's 2 different players. One was Kirill the Thrill coming back off IR for this game, and I hate myself. I should retire for this alone. I was going to tweet, "Oh, they need reinforcements to beat the Coyotes." I had a joke, and I chose not to do it. And then let's get into my patented goal scoring summary. You got Kerfoot, all right, starting us off 5 minutes and 7 seconds in on the power play from Keller and Jersey, his 6th of the season. Then you have Bukestad, his 7th from Kesselring. That name will be very, very familiar by the end of this episode at 11:47. Then at 17:21, all in the first period, by the way, Nick Bukestad, isn't he a Minnesota native? I don't know. I could be wrong. His 8th from Kraus and Zucker. Oh, that's another former Minnesota player. Going to the second period, you got Clayton Keller deciding he was feeling a little left out. His 16th of the season at 151 of the second period from Jonathan Dursey and Jackery McBain. Nick Bukestad completes the Hattie, his 9th from Zucker and Stetcher. It's got to be a scientific thing. If the rare occasion Stetcher comes out and gets a point, the Coyotes got to win. At 6:40, then in the third period, Clayton Keller decides on this phenomenal, I think this one was the breakaway. I'm pretty sure this one was the breakaway. A phenomenal play, a good setup pass, was a stretch pass by Jack McBain. 38 seconds in, his 17th from McBain and Schmaltz. 6-0. Connor Ingram, a 38 save shutout. He has 5 shutouts in the year. He is the league leading shutout goaltender. And still Georgiev gets in the All-Star game. I don't care. Voice is going to crack. We are going to riot. How did he not get in?
You know who got completely shafted out of the All-Star game?
Who?
Matias Maccelli.
Matias Macaroni, the Finnish fettuccine, or even Lawson Krause. Legitimately, Lawson Krause has been phenomenal.
Yeah, him too. Like, look, those are players that could have been more deserving. Who knows? But here's the thing, you know, when I thinking about the those games though, right? That Minnesota game and it being a 6-0 win. Matthew, when let's go back a month when I talked about both the games against the Sharks, and I made that. Against the San Jose Sharks, and I made that comment where the Coyotes need to prove themselves by dominating a terrible team like the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
They did that, but with Minnesota, which is a slightly better team than San Jose.
They're an actual NHL team. They're not rostering an AHL crew.
Exactly. But that's kind of, but this still but the point would still stand on that. I kind of would think, yeah, you know what? The Coyotes are a bubble team close to the playoffs, and Minnesota sucks. You want like a bottom of the barrel team.
And Minnesota sucks. I can concur. I agree. Arizona is the new state of hockey. Minnesota sucks. And
that's the thing. You know, I was like, so I was thinking in my head when I saw it, I was like, so they kind of still did a curb stomping of a bad team. It just wasn't the team I expected. Speaking of which, by the way, I watched the I've been watching Minnesota's PWHL team, and you know, looks like they've been freaking kicking ass and getting their attendance super high. Women's hockey, people, support women's hockey. But yeah, no, it's like, yeah, that was a good game. That's what they needed. They needed that to bounce back.
Yeah, and I genuinely, you know what? I like this running gag, but I just genuinely don't ask people their names. There's this one gentleman in a suit when I was wrapping up some stuff after they lost to Calgary, and I was like, you know, what is it, a 3-game road trip coming up? Funny enough, I didn't even look at the schedule. I just guessed 3 games, and I happened to be right. Like, yeah, it's a 3-game road trip. I'm like, you know what? You win 2 out of 3, you're right back on it. Now, I want to bring up the standings real quick, because they're taking on Vancouver and Calgary. Vancouver's been better than they have any business being this year, and good for them, honestly. It's been a solid season. They're number 1 in the Pacific, 29-11-3. The Coyotes ain't winning that game, but if they can prove something, Calgary, they have a bone to pick. Calgary's a much worse team. They're much closer to the Coyotes, 20-18-5. I think if the Coyotes over the next 2 games can at least beat Calgary, you have a solid 2 out of 3 wins on the road trip. You get to come back home. I think it's for 2 or 3 more games. Right there, you're right back on track. You're right back within that playoff mix. I mean, they're only a couple of points out. I think it's 4 total points out. You can make that up. And as long as they keep us believing they're going to make the playoffs, that's all I care about, because that's what we're looking for this year. Not playoffs, but make us think, make us feel, make me rip my gosh darn hair out, make me yell profanities, make me kick a hole in my door because gosh darn it, they lost 2-1 in regulation when they should have lost 2-1 in overtime. There you go.
What do we call it? Oh yeah, playoff torture. Even though if you're not in the playoffs, the idea that you could potentially make the playoffs, that gosh darn torture in your gut, that is comes to the territory of being a sports fan. If it's either, but that's the good feeling. If you have a team that's really really bad, and they're never going to be that, you don't get the torture. You just get the either one of two things, depending on which kind of fan base you have. Either depression or apathy.
We get both plus just a little bit of like enjoyable pain because we keep coming back for it. Like this fan base does it. You can't say we don't.
Yeah. Like you can look at like, you could be like in more specific way. You could be the fan base like for the bad teams, the fan base that still goes to games but puts paper bags over your face because you don't want people to know that you actually support your team, or you just don't go all together. There are different kinds of fan bases that do that, and it's interesting. So that's that level, and then you get the level of where torture actually applies, and that's either A, if you're a bubble team, or B, if you are a contender and you're always in the mix for the final, but you just can't quite make it.
I would hate to be a Toronto fan. I would genuinely hate Wigan. What, like, seriously, have you ever regretted being a Coyotes fan to the point where you're like, you wear a paper bag?
No, I mean, I haven't.
Because like I have seen things I shouldn't have seen. No, you're not going to get context. I have heard things I shouldn't have heard, and you're still not going to get context that make me like embarrassed, like of certain people, but of the team itself, I've never once like genuinely regretted. Like when the arena drama like gets to where like, oh, this team might leave, I've been depressed. I've been like, you know what? I kind of wish I was never a fan of this team. And then 2 minutes later, after I'm done planning to jump off the bridge, I'm like, you know what? Screw this. Just out of spite, these are my boys. They ain't going nowhere. And I love them. I love the pain. I love hating myself when I wake up.
Jump off a bridge, Matt. You missed the perfect opportunity. Just jump into the giant pile of trash that's still rotten at the at the Tempe compost yard.
The only way to make that enjoyable is to get bit by a rabid coyote. So you just got all these open wounds. And you're jumping into the garbage. Like, yes, this is what I deserve for being a Coyotes fan. Apparently, you come to this show because I'm funny. That's it. It's not because of Robyn's journalism. It's because I'm funny. The funny fat man says funny fat man things. Admit it. It's fun. We're all here having fun.
Actually, it might be a mix of both. It might be, you might be you want to hear my insight, but you every now and then you just need to get some absolute insanity from Matthew.
You know what?
It's a good mix.
Hey, you, Kyle, I see you typing. No, I'm not on anything. I just blatantly am like, I don't care anymore. I'm here for the lulz. No, I really hope someone named Kyle was about to comment. I genuinely.
So you know what it is? You know what it is? This is a kid who, we're talking right here. That's a kid who grew up in the West Valley.
The sun got to me.
Yep.
Back in the day, I had a farmer's tan and everything. I was out there doing electrical work.
Versus a kid who grew up in upper middle class Bay Area and went to college.
Oh my God, it's bougie versus trailer trash. That's why the dynamic is so good. You literally have the bougie and then the trailer trash. Like, dog, did I just see you go through a dumpster for an old computer running Windows 95? Yes. I probably would
I
just to see
mean,
if I could play Sonic Adventure on it.
I mean, just take a look at our at the Twitter feed of me giving you crap of your budget build for your PC.
Cannot believe I put when I think happened. I genuinely think I just like I had that laptop RAM in there without realizing it because it was on sale. I think I just got rid of the wrong thing, so I'm waiting. That was like a $20 mistake. I'm waiting on the proper RAM now, and I took out my frustration, Robyn. That night I went to Goodwill, and for $13 I got this like Windows XP workstation like with an Intel was it Intel Duo 2? Like it is some ancient technology. I'm gonna see if I can get Sonic Adventure to run on it because I've decided whenever I'm mad, upset, I want to jump off a bridge. I'm just going to find some old technology and see if I can run Skyrim or Sonic Adventure 2 on it, and then I'll be happy.
See, meanwhile, you know what I want to do? I'm going to try to do? I want to try to get a Raspberry Pi or Arduino, rig it up to like a goal light that's going to go above right behind me. I press the button and it not only does that flash, but my other lights go down, and you'll hear a nice goal horn as well as Howlin' for You start playing.
We should do that. So many people would hate us. I saw like I'm going to set up the ad break in a second. I see you, Sean. We'll be there in a second, but
breaking the fourth wall to all our people watching this show. I love
you, dude. You're awesome. And it's probably one of the reasons I'm still on the show. Anyway, one person was like ranking the goal horns, and they're like, "What? It howls? God, that's an F tier, like whatever, like the lower tier was, because it was like it's annoying." I'm like, "It's the Coyotes. What did you think?"
That's no. Let's be real. And I know we did do the break, but I want to say this one thing before we head into that and talk about some a little bit of arena stuff, because we know that deadline looming. The howling goal horn significantly better than the goal horn where at the same time it sounds like there's a siren going off.
Ooh,
you know who you are.
The old school ones?
No, I'm talking about Washington Capitals.
Oh.
You should. Have you never heard their goal horn, Matthew?
No.
All right.
I was gonna say it's better.
When we go offline, I'm gonna have you listen to it, and I'm gonna get your reaction live.
I was gonna say I was like, as long as it's better than the ASU one this year, because like they score and then it's like, hey baby, I wanna know.
No.
It's so annoying.
Once we're done recording, I'm gonna have you listen to the Washington Capitals goal horn, and it's god awful in entirety.
Is it that bad? I'm excited. I'm actually excited.
Yes. Anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna close things off, get some final thoughts, talk about some other things coming up for Coyotes news. But first, we're gonna take a quick break so we can hear from our sponsors on today's show. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets shouldn't be frustrating, guys. I know when you try to buy tickets, sometimes you get upset that your tickets had all of a sudden, double the cost in your ticket price on fees. Your view from your seat ended up being really god awful. And let's just be real. The value just wasn't there. Game Time is out there to fix everything with their last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy tickets for all kinds of events in your area, whether it's a sporting event, a concert, comedy show, whatever it might be. You get the lowest price, guaranteed event cancellation protection and job loss protection. You can see the view from your seats right before you buy, so you know exactly what you're going to get right before you arrive. And you get all-in pricing, so you get your total up front, so you know you're getting a deal before checkout. No crazy fees that pop up at the last second. Buy tickets in just 2 taps. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Matthew, let's get back to it. Come just some miscellaneous news really quick. Arena news. Deadline is looming, Matthew. We're getting really close. We're now in the middle of of January, and from our understanding, that quote soft deadline was All-Star break. We're like what 2 weeks away from that now, so they're about. It's coming, and it has to, and we're getting there, and we're hearing tidbits where like someone like I think there was a report out that said that Northeast Phoenix site isn't quote the only site. That could be a possibility still. I'm still based off like my what seems like to me. I feel confident it's still going to be up there in that corridor, but again, at this point, because it was so far removed from some news, anything can happen, dude. Like it's just frustrating me. I want this deal to be done.
No, I'm gonna cut you off right there. No, not anything can happen, because what you did is just make everybody that hates this team like their ears perked up. They got excited. We do not give them anything to be excited about, Robyn. All we give them is misery. This arena is happening.
What I meant by that is anything can happen by picking their spot in the valley. Mesa can all of a sudden come back into a spot again.
Oh my God, it needs to. It need like the West Mesa location is perfect. It is like.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't mind walking.
And then I would just stay in the West Valley covering the Rattlers, and I would go retire to study my rocks.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be coming soon. But my expectation, though, is that it stays in that spot that we've talked about, that I've reported on both this show and as well as Five for Howling, that Northeast Phoenix site. But we'll have to see, because there's a lot of things that have to do with the deal being done. The Coyotes are still really, heavily focused on the fact that this does not go to a public referendum.
Actually, we have a small bit of insight on that. I think Gutierrez let it slip on that Burns and Gambo interview. They literally cannot, like, the agreement with the NHL. So I need to do a video on it so I can like actually chronicle it, because every single time Gutierrez talks, he says nothing but a little bit of stuff slips. And so it's kind of like we have a little more context in the deals. So it's like Q1, so which is technically, I think, like March 31st is the hard deadline. So the end of the season is the deadline. Like if this is not like, hey, this will happen by the end of the season, something will need to happen. And supposedly they literally cannot. So it's, even though it's smart that the Coyotes don't do another public referendum, I also want to criticize the fact that this had to be in the NHL's like agreement. Makes me mildly concerned these morons were going to try it again. So I'm just going to go from that perspective. The fact, like, they literally, like, it's in the agreement. They cannot do anything in the public referendum. I swear to the gods, if that's because you guys are thinking about it again, you need to get slapped in the face. Straight up. Stupid. No. Bad. Done. Get a spray bottle and squirt you, because no. Dumb. Dumb.
Yeah. We should do that. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Just yes. Just yes.
All right. Is the arena news over?
Oh yeah. Yeah. All we'll say is, like I said, expect it to come sooner rather than later. If it's not this week, I'm hoping it's next week, Matthew. I want it before that soft deadline that the Coyotes have given themselves.
Yeah, I would prefer that. I would have preferred, especially when Gutierrez like 3 times in December said, "Oh, by the end of this year." I really wish he would have just shut the hell up, because like
so
you weren't helping.
When he was on the other show, he mentioned what 45 to 60 days, whatever it was, which we blew past. November came in by, and he said, "Oh, by the end of the year," and then someone else, and then it kind of like went on to like kind of to double down a little bit, but said by the new year, not by the end of this year, but by the new year. Mm-hmm. So now we're 2 weeks past the new year. So
he just needs to stop talking until he has something. Like he is just putting his foot in his mouth. Objectively, Javier, you're not going to watch this, all right? But if you do, stop talking until you are ready. Literally, the next thing out of your mouth better be either this is the plan Like this is the spot, or we have nothing to comment on until we are ready to announce it. Stop. I know you want to be optimistic. I know you're a corporate dude. I get it. Stop talking, because you have objectively lied a couple of times now. And like the 30 to 60 days wasn't technically a lie, because he said something has to become public. We reported on this show. We were some of the people that helped break the story of the Northeast Phoenix location. Something did technically become public. That wasn't the lie. It's the emphasis on the end of the year that was the
let's
lie.
be fair. That was through a series of leaks that happened across the entire Coyotes media.
Strategic leaks, because it still had to become public. That's one way you can get around that. Like I said, that wasn't technically a lie. I want to be honest on this show. I might be a nobody, but I'm going to be an honest nobody.
That's fair. And I guess that technically was within that 30 to 60 day time frame. So
anywho, we're out of time. So I'm going to get on my soapbox for 60 seconds. Robyn's going to have to just wait. So literally, I was given the option between, do you want to foster this pregnant dog that's about to have her puppies forcefully taken out and then spayed, or these 3 puppies that were all found together because they're emotionally shut down, they're all about to be put down. The fact that that's how these things are being handled in Maricopa County is shameful. And the only thing, I don't care what little platform I have, I don't care how much you guys care about my opinion. If you can consider adopting a dog, especially one of these ones off of the E-list, because the amount of dogs that are literally emotionally shut down, that are going to be killed because of it, like Noodle was just like that. And the fact that I'm sitting here thinking about that stupid little dog, my stupid little Noodle Woodle, that I sit there and give little kisses to at night and we cuddle with when I'm getting ready to go to bed, the fact that I now have to think about her being dead just because she's emotionally shut down, because they don't know how to handle these dogs and help them out, like, disgusts me and destroys me and like just kills me. Like, if you can, especially the pit mixes, because they get the worst rep, and Noodle was labeled as a pit and she's 100% not. It is ridiculous how this is ran. Please consider, because it is getting bad. And straight up, like, I there's not much I can do, but I don't know mentally how much I can handle it.
Well, those are some pretty solid words that spoken, Matthew. I think, a lot of us have things that we're super passionate about, and that's something that I think is, really, really important to get out there. Anyways, that's it for today's show of Locked On Coyotes. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, and subscribe if you have yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube, SiriusXM, and ad-free on Amazon Music. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, and on X at LO_Coyotes. I'm personally at Robyn_Leano. Matthew Jacobson is at the AZ Sports Guy. Interact with us, ask the question you might have. We might answer right back or in a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.